Welcome, friends, to the Hebrew Nation Radio and Bride of Christ podcast with breaking news. Breaking spelled like put the brakes on before you get too much bad stuff. Um, we're going to be talking today about five topics. How the new pope will actually be the last pope. I know there's a lot of speculation, but we're going to review Bible evidence along with St. Malachi's list that fits this uniquely. And then the new high priest appointed that they have named and are planning for him to take control when they get the sanctuary built, third temple. I don't think it's going to get built, but we'll give you the reasons also. This is the number two topic. Number three topic is I've been wrong in my expectation that Muslims would attack Jerusalem by now, because I believe they are going to do it according to Zechariah 14 verse 2, but it may not be this year. I thought since they got into the picture last year with a few missiles and drones that this Passover season, Titus conquered Jerusalem at Passover. I thought they would be doing it also, but there's been a delay, it looks like, because the trouble with Gaza, yes, etc. But anyway, gonna discuss that, and then health issues. Health is wealth. Christ Yeshua spent more time healing than preaching, and have something to consider on that, as well as a website that I will mention. So let's go back first of all to the Pope. In Revelation 17th chapter, verse 10, it says there are seven kings. Five are fallen, one is, and the other is not yet come, and when he comes, he will continue a short time. I believe that short time is the end time, and it's a 7-year period, not as long as most popes serve, but the point is that how do we get there, and why is he the seventh? Well, Mussolini reinstated the papacy in 1929 with land, and in 1933, the Cardinal Pacelli, who was destined to become the next pope, Pope Pius XII, bargained with Hitler and the Reich to make the world Catholic when he won the war. This is why Italy and Spain joined the World War II, to make the world Catholic. Well, this is a lesson that they've conveyed that to the Muslims as well. It's said that Khadija, the wife of Muhammad, was a former nun, and she asked her uncle, a Catholic, to mentor young Muhammad. And young Muhammad may have gotten the idea of making people Islam from what Catholics have tried to do in the Dark Ages, medieval period, when they burned Protestants at the stake, which is why so many were willing to risk life at sea and life risked by Indians or starvation in the New World. But bottom line, this country was formed as a Protestant nation in contrast to every other nation to the south. But now they're coming here to overwhelm our voting system and to make the Pope's agenda, the UN agenda, that's his route to supremacy, number one. And anyway, starting though back with I was going to tell you how we got to the seventh Pope, from when Cardinal Pacelli, who wanted to make the world Catholic, was Pius XII. Then comes John the 23rd, that's two. Then came Paul the Sixth, that's three. And then John Paul I was only 33 days, and he would not wear the triple crown. He had reforms in mind. I don't count him. I think they may have murdered him, in 33 days. So that the fourth one was John Paul II. And after John Paul II was Benedict, that was 5. Francis is number 6, and Leo is number 7. So that's how we get there. Explaining since the papacy was reinstated. It talks in Revelation 13th chapter about the beast that had a deadly wound. The deadly wound was healed. then all the world wonders after the beast. Well, the beast has an image to it made in the last part of Revelation 13. That's the UN, okay? So that it looks like the beast, it sounds like the beast, it will vote for what the beast wanted because of so many Catholic nations, etc. And they will compel people to false worship, which is historic for Rome, basically. Changing in Daniel, the 7th chapter, verse 25, the little horn thought to change times and laws. The little horn grew out of Rome, but it was a diverse little horn, different. Why? Because it was religious power. Okay, so yes, Rome is a bad player in this, according to Revelation 17. A lot of clues pointing to Rome, city of 7 hills, color of cardinals, wealthy church decked in gold, etc., etc. So won't go there right now more, but just say be aware that this Pope is not stupid, and he is planning to. He will be the one to deal with the last problems for their church. All right, number 2, the high priest being chosen, a descendant from good posterity apparently, but it really doesn't matter. The Messianic rabbi told me that the Jews in Israel today, 90% have no interest in their spiritual heritage. They're just there for free land from the UN, and they don't care about God. Well, this is why God's going to let them, the Muslims drive them out, basically. And so it's not, they were not honoring what God said in Leviticus 26 chapter. If you walk contrary to me, I'll punish you 7 times over. And God started out with the 7s when Israel did not honor the sabbatical year. They didn't count to 7. They just kept on counting and planting and abusing the land. It said in Isaiah 24 verse 5 that they spoiled the land or ruined the land. So God, for 10 years times 7 is 70 years. They went to Babylon in punishment. And then God put them on probation 70 times 7. Well, that in the 69th year, Yeshua was anointed at the beginning of the 70th year. It was after 69 years were completed, beginning of the 70th year. But they didn't count it. They didn't care who was being anointed. It wasn't John. They didn't care about what John the Baptist said, that this is the Lamb that takes away the sin of the world. They're still wanting to kill lambs. Okay. Also Isaiah 53rd chapter, the lamb, he was like a lamb went to the slaughter. Well, that's why God is not caring about what their 3rd temple is. Before they ever get that 3rd temple built, I believe the Muslims are going to take Jerusalem, and it will be trouble for them. So that's the first 2 topics on my list, and we're just wondering if anybody is out there in the audience that knows why we didn't have the Muslims taking Jerusalem yet, because it is forecast, Day of the Lord, in Zechariah 14:1. It says it's the Day of the Lord, and I'm seeing that not as when he comes in the sky, but in Egypt, it was night of the Lord when God executed judgment on Egypt at Passover time. Exodus 12:12, he said, I will execute judgment, and verse 42 says, it is night of the Lord, and it was a great cry went up from Egypt at midnight in verses 28 and 29 or 29 and 30. So I believe Day of the Lord is going to be similar with a time of judgment, and I'm looking forward to an earthquake as that time of judgment, as Luke's wedding parable shows. In Luke 12, verse 35 and 36, we're supposed to be ready when he comes and knocks, that we can open immediately. And blessed is that servant whom his Lord finds watching. Well, watching means be awake, and that was only commanded at Passover time. So this is really about Passover imagery. Also clues from like the Last Supper in Luke 12:37. He says, blessed is the Lord are those servants who the Lord finds watching. He will gird himself, make them sit down to eat, and serve them. Well, that's what he did at Passover time with his disciples. This is, I believe, they missed the boat when they failed to watch and pray. They lost the kingdom, I believe, because they failed to honor him And if they should have, if they had watched and prayed and been strengthened, they should have gone to trial with him. And when the Jews accused him of tearing down their temple, and their intent to do so, they should have said, no, he's talking about his body. Come out Sunday morning, you'll see. And if they'd done that, Jews could not have lied. And the Pentecost could have seen the whole nation in repentance for having crucified their Messiah. So, and then the kingdom could have been established. And the world would be so much better with biblical laws today than what we've got is a mess. And so I just think they failed him. And in spite of the failed him, God didn't throw them off and say, you're stupid. When they ask, are you going to restore the kingdom? I would have probably said, you guys failed me so bad it can't happen. But he said, it's not for you to know. But in 1 Thessalonians 5:1, he says of the times and seasons, that was the reason. It's not for you to know the times or seasons. But in 1 Thessalonians 5:1, he says of the times and seasons, you have no need that I write, for you know perfectly. Well, I don't think we do today. But maybe back then they did. It says, for the day of the Lord, and that's the end time period, will come as a thief in the night. And that's as God came. God came invisibly. Nobody saw God. And so this is not about a rapture to heaven either, etc. But I believe that when they're saying peace and safety, sudden destruction will come, as the days of Noah, it came. You see. Now, days of Noah, the flood actually started on the 17th day. I say that the days of Noah, it had Passover timing because Noah and his family entered on the 10th day of the ark. That was the same day that his sacrifice was supposed to be selected in Exodus 12, verse 3. 10th day, they set apart a lamb. Well, when Noah went into the ark, people, when they didn't go in and accept his invitation, they were selecting themselves a sacrifice. That's how it had Passover timing. But the flood came a week later from the 10th day. A week later is the 17th. That would be a couple days from now, okay, supposedly. And that's when the flood started. Well, God's not going to send another flood of water, but he could send a flood of immigrants, because Daniel 11, the imagery is that the king of the north overflows. Overflows is not a flood of water, but they're overflowing our border as they come in. And we could see even a couple days from now, this is Tuesday, maybe Thursday, let's watch the news and see if there's a huge sweep of immigrants. Maybe not, because we haven't had the Muslims attack either yet, to be honest with you. But I believe still in all, on the last day of Passover, which is the 19th this year, it could be serious, because historically there have been a dark day twice. On May 19, 1780, unexplainably dark, but you could Google it to find out. But 200 years later, again, another dark day, when Mount St. Helens erupted and put ash into the sky that wind carried overnight to darken 3 states on the 19th, May 19, 1980, 200th anniversary. I'm saying amazing, too amazing to be just a mere coincidence. I believe God is marking May 19, and this year it falls on the last day of Passover, which is next Monday. If you're starting counting, now I'm talking about the 9/11 Passover of Numbers 9, verse 10 and 11, a provision for Passover a month later as the days of Noah. Or if you're taking a long trip, that's how Christ ended his parables. When 5 women missed the wedding, and he said, you don't understand, because or for the kingdom of heaven's like a man traveling to a far country. And he gave some 5 talents, some 3, some 1. We think, oh, he's just telling another story. But really the reason they didn't understand was because it's like a far journey, okay? And that is a provision for Passover a month later. If they couldn't get back in time from a long journey in time for Passover, they were to keep it in May, not in April. So there you have it on reasons for still to look for things that may be coming soon. Don't know for sure. Might not be this year, but hang on. And we'll talk again next week, okay? And I want to tell you that I have a website that I think is high value for low cost. I have here a book, The Earthquake and Seven Seals, and it's about how we can be sealed and have a covenant with Christ, because that's how God married Israel. In Exodus 19th chapter, he said, if you keep my covenant, you'll be a kingdom. And they said, we'll do it. But they were passively interested. We'll do whatever you say. But they were ignorant, really, and they worshipped a calf 40 days later. And by the way, the calves, they called him Baal. Baal, translated, means Lord. And I grew up believing that God's name was Lord, or the Lord's name was God, just back and forth. But those are titles. Favorite author says the Pope styles himself by the title Lord God the Pope. Those are not names. And the Pope didn't have God's name either. Okay, so basically, and I don't think the Jews have his name for the most part. Most of them believe it's Yahweh because of 4 Hebrew letters, Yod, He, Wah, He. But Josephus, Jewish historian at the time of Jerusalem's destruction, he was watching them bring out the furniture after the temple burned, and he saw the golden crown in which was engraven the sacred name. He says it consists of 4 vowels. Well, Yod He Vav He is not; those are not vowels, and I'm saying the Jews don't have it right yet. I know that it sounds like an odd name, and it is really, because you wouldn't want God to have a name like Tom, Dick, or Harry. It's got to be different, and consonants have no beauty to them. It's just b, d, m, p, f. You know, we would be very limited if we didn't have God's vowels as part of the words that we can use. We should not take it in vain. We should tell the truth, etc. And I believe that we need to understand it better. I'll just give you one more example of how the word Hallel means praise, okay, in Hebrew, and the word hallelujah is a praise to those vowels. And if we understand it, and by the way, the short form of God's name, you see it in Psalm 68, verse 4. Extol him that rides on the heavens by his name, J-A-H. It says Jah. Well, it's not Jah. There's no J in Hebrew, no J in Greek. Catholic translators, transformers, they transform God's name with Lord and replace the yods with the J, and there's no J there. But it's really the short form is Ea. The yod has the E sound, and prophets came in God's name, like Zephaniah, Obadiah, Zechariah, Obadiah, Isaiah, etc. So that helps us a little bit, but my point is that my book here has 7 topics, and the first one is the name of God as a seal. In Revelation 6, verse 1, when John hears thunder, thunder is linked to God's name. When Christ prayed, Father, glorify your name, the people standing around thought it thundered in John 12th chapter, verse 28, 29. And again, Revelation 14:1, the 144,000 have the Father's name in the forehead, and again, the thundering is in the 2nd verse there. So this is examples of how when they came back under Nehemiah and Ezra, and the Israelites read the book of the law in the 9th chapter, and then decided they wanted to renew the covenant, they signed and sealed to it. By signing, I guess they call it a seal, but Revelation 6th chapter has 7 seals, and I believe that we have more to learn and more to do, since so much time, 2,000 years has passed. Christ said he's going to send Elijah to restore all things. We need to understand what the all things are, and the name is the first one, really, basically. We've been talking about it, and it's not anything with J, so Jehovah is not the name, as the church that I grew up in thought it was, etc. So here we are. First seal is God's name. Second one, the red horse, I believe, is about the covenant. Because when God's made it says in Exodus 34, verse 10, 11, behold, I make a covenant. It's a terrible thing I'm going to do with you. I'm going to drive out the Canaanite. It took peace from the land at that point when he was going to drive out the Canaanite. Fortunately, the walls of Jericho fell down. Israelites didn't die, but we will need God's protection in the end time. If we really hope to have a covenant with him, that will do it for us, if we're faithful to the covenant that we make. And we need to understand how to do that. And this book is all about it. It's not about God speaking out of heaven. It's not going to happen that way. I'll give you, for instance, when they made covenants in the Old Testament, the proactive person that wanted a covenant gave 7 of something, like Abraham gave 7 ewe lambs to Abimelech because he wanted a water well covenant. And Abimelech honored it as well. But the point is that we need to give Christ 7 of something that he is interested in, because he doesn't want a stupid bride like his father God got at Sinai worshiping a calf. And he even said, beware the leaven of Pharisees in Matthew 16 verse 12. Beware the leaven of Pharisees. And he's in the next chapter he said, before he comes, Elijah must come first and restore all things. We can be the Elijahs. We can be the 144,000 that help to restore all things, and they are highly honored to get to follow Christ wherever he goes in eternity. I think I would like that too, and he will do that for us if we get it right. In Luke's wedding parable, it says that we need our loins girded and lights burning. Loins girded is a clue for Passover, and lights burning also means that be proactive. God as proactive agent in the covenant he made in Genesis, the 15th chapter, verse 17 or 18, as a burning lamp, God went between the pieces of the sacrifice, as if to say, may I be torn apart if I don't keep my part of the bargain. God's going to keep his part of the bargain, no problem about that. But for us, we need to be serious, or we might not live through, because we're not honoring the covenant we make. But if we make it, we need to offer 7 of something, and that's the 7 topics that I have right here: earthquake and 7 seals. Not expensive. For $5.95, you can get the digital copy from my website, healthhappinessanddestiny.com. It's spell the word "and" out also, so it's health, you know the spelling of that; happiness, you know the spelling; and destiny.com. And for $5.95, you get something that will help you know high value and a high value health link to a video that you can. It explains how you can live without prescription drugs. You can get off of most of these drugs, whether it's cholesterol, blood sugar for diabetes, triglycerides, blood pressure. These are things you can live without. The drugs can. I have helped people off of those drugs as a physician. I'm a retired physician now, but the link, in my opinion, is worth thousands of dollars if you're taking prescription drugs on a regular basis, like my neighbor who's got a bag full of them, and she doesn't feel well, but she doesn't know what's causing it, and I don't know either. Okay, I told her to go to the library and get a physician's desk reference, look up her drugs, and find out what her symptoms are, and maybe she can identify which drug is causing which. But it's not easy. It takes time. And when I worked emergency room, my worst nightmare was a little lady with a bag of pills that didn't feel well. Okay, and I would usually just treat her symptoms and have her go back to her doctor, because he's the one that caused the problems. So anyway, thank you. We're getting down to almost out of time, but thank you. We'll talk to you again next week. Please pray for this ministry, and tell your friends about it, and bless Hebrew Nation also. They need your help. And send me an email, ruling7@yahoo.com, if I can help you in any way. God bless you. Thank you. We'll see you. Bye-bye.